Peter Obi of the Labour Party had said it wasn't going to be a party. It looks as if things have changed a bit. But back to the, I don't know, as I said, Peter Moka described it. Peter Moka is the National Publicity Secretary of APC. He described it as drivel, because people are still trying to find out what exactly was all of that about. And as I introduced earlier, our guest Kasim Afegwa, thank you very much for coming on once again. What do you make, Kasim, of the outing of Labour Party's losing candidate, Peter Gregory Obi?
Well, thank you very much for the opportunity of this interaction. I think, Yori, don't blame these guys. They are sore losers. You don't flog a child and you expect that child not to cry. And in the process of crying, it's going to be murmuring and saying all manners of things just to convey his own pains. And that's exactly what is happening. Whether you call him Atiku Abubakar, you call him Gregory Obi and what have you, it's just unfortunate that they have not been able to swallow their pride and own up to the defeat of February 25th, 2023. It's very obvious that now they are no longer talking about, I won the election, I won the election. They are now going after Tinubu with issue of qualification to stand election or no qualification. They want people to believe their own narrative. But the narrative on the other side, they don't want anyone to believe. And you see, for Peter Obi not even recognizing that we have a president, it's quite unfortunate. The mere fact that he was able to conduct a press conference without people beating him up shows that there's a government in place that enforces rule of law. There's a government in place that ensures that there's protection to life and property. That means there's a government and there's a president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria and commander-in-chief of the armed forces. You know, when they behave so petty in this manner, what I just do is to laugh at them. Because in any election, any electoral contest, only a winner is expected to emerge. No matter how painful your defeat is, you have to behave like a sportsman. Swallow your pride and own up. It's about the country. What do you have to put on the table? What do you have to assist the government of the day to add value, you know, to our collective aspirations, our yearnings, you know? People keep talking about Nigeria in such a negative term. No, I would pride Nigeria as one of the best places I can live. Because when you travel out of this country, you are just like a fish out of water. That's the truth. A lot of things we do and get away with here, it doesn't happen elsewhere. And when you want to enforce that kind of discipline, the same people will still call you names. The former Governor Wike, a minister for FCT, is trying to fix Abuja. Go to the internet and see criticism and all of that. He's chasing away those who are inhabiting shanties across in FCT, and they are abusing hell out of him. He wants to breathe sanity into the system, but they wouldn't want to listen. We want discipline, but we don't behave as disciplined people. And so, for a man who contested as presidential candidate of Labour Party and wants Nigerians to accord him that recognition as a candidate who wanted to preside over Nigerians, for him to even be undermining the government of the day is quite unfortunate. That is the more reason why he cannot smell Aso Rock.
You know, as you say, Kazim, for a man who would be president to be behaving in this manner, by which I mean, how ethical is it? Only the other day I referred to him and Adamawa, Waziri Adamawa, as a statesman. Somebody called in and objected quite vigorously to that particular characterization. But for a man who would be president to now be behaving in this manner, the matter is before the Supreme Court. I don't know, the only thing that possibly could be gained by Peter Obi in all of this was attention. He wanted, it would seem to me, to get back on the front page. Well, to some extent, he has achieved that. But how ethical is it for a man who would be president to be compromising the Supreme Court? All these matters are before it. He even said it somewhere along the line in his question and answers that this wasn't about politics, the way he put it. He said this wasn't about politics, this wasn't about education. I think it's about ethics, the very ethics that I'm talking about. So I don't know I don't know, it was very, very confusing. And then he was behind, he had behind him a backdrop of let's take back Nigeria. Didn't somebody tell Peter Obi that the election is over and that we have a president in place?
Yori, you see, again, that is their level of understanding of the dynamics of politics. They tend to think that if it is not them, then it should be nobody. That is the characteristics of bad losers, sore losers, who think they should be given the opportunity, on a blank slate to be president of Nigeria. Nigerians, 8.7 million Nigerians voted for Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu. That has been fully, that has been fully underscored by the tribunal. Now, you say you were not satisfied. You have raised 50 grounds of appeal. You've gone to the Supreme Court and all that. The honest and transparent and distinguished thing to do is for you to wait on the Supreme Court of the land to act on your grounds of appeal. Whipping up unnecessary sentiments that don't add up will not help your case. I was happy the other time when the Chief Justice of Nigeria was talking to the newly sworn in 23 judges, when he said that don't allow public opinion and media trial inform the sanctity of the verdict you give at every point in time. You see, they will hold meetings, they've set up committees of media, they've talked, they say, okay, let us hype the media, let us hype these issues in the media, let's carry out a media blitz, let's scandalize the president, let's blackmail him and all that to generate the atmosphere to help the Supreme Court. But the issues we are putting before the Supreme Court, there are issues that have been attended by the tribunal for which very sound judgment was given. So if you believe in the sanctity of the judicial process, of the justice system in this country, you allow the Supreme Court to act on all of those issues. You don't preempt them. You don't give them a guide. You don't give them a lead into what you think you desire. At any rate, Peter Obi came third in this last election. I told somebody, I said, dash him 1 million votes. He has not gotten there. Dash him 1.5 million votes. He has not gotten there. Dash him 6 states and tell him he got 300,000 in 6 states, 1.8 million votes. He has not gotten there. So where is this whole noise about I won the election, I know what to prove and all of that? Where is it coming from? We were all participants, we were partakers in this whole process from our different polling units, ward level, our local government level and all of that. We saw what transpired. And I keep telling people, an election that 7 sitting governors could lose senatorial elections is, for me, the best election we have conducted in this country. You may, the posters, those people who were doing predictions were the ones who are putting Peter Obi in this kind of lockjam. Because they already gave him victory even before the elections were commenced. So for me, I think people who are reasonable, who are rational, should call Peter Obi to order and tell him that he should allow the Supreme Court to dispense with this issue once and for all. If you are even talking about certificate this, certificate that, we've seen reports, the one conducted by the BBC and, is quite detailed, very enriching. And that is a typical way of doing investigative journalism, devoid of sentiments and parochialism. And so for me, when I read that report, I said, yes, this is exactly how to do journalistic, justice to an issue that's at play. So if they don't, meanwhile, they saw how authentic that report was, they now started putting it as a fake news.
Yes.
As if some of us are not, as if some of us are not following.
Yeah, they now started tearing the BBC with its fact-checking. They started tearing that to bits. And when I say they, if you look at the comments, I mean, if there were 1,000 comments in there, over 900 of them were coming from Obi supporters who just did not want to believe or accept that what a detached purview of the landscape in the light of all the CSU documentation that Atiku Abubakar had, received. They just were not happy because, as you had said earlier, it didn't go their way, and so you see all sorts of comments, even going as far from the sublime to the ridiculous, saying that, BBC itself has been settled. I mean, can you imagine? Can you imagine where we are? This is the kind of situation that we have. That BBC fact-checking thing stung like hell.
You see, the point is that when a case is not going in your favor, they will want to clutch at every flotsam to remain afloat and, voice out all manner of sentiments just to pollute the minds of their followers. You see, the BBC report confirmed my earlier position that the Chicago State University, as it were, did not in any way disown the certificate of Mr. President. So, but for those who already have a sense of conclusion of the whole issues, they like to listen to their own voices. They like to hear themselves speak. The other day, Atiku Abubakar said, he's doing a World Press Conference. He ended up in lamentation. Peter Obi was doing a press conference yesterday. He ended up ridiculing himself. You see, once you have tabled your issues before a court of competent jurisdiction, in this case, the apex court of the land, and you have filed for admission of fresh evidence, which the APC lawyers will also reply to, then you allow the court process, judicial process, to take its rightful course, and let's get to the issues. Then we will argue them out on point of law, not point of sentiments, not point of mediocrity, not point of parochialism, and selective amnesia. Because what they're trying to do is a mind game. They are running a mind game. Oh, let's scandalize our president, let's do that. This president is bogged down with a lot of existential threats and developmental issues that needs his attention. And the man has been crisscrossing the globe, trying to generate new ideas that can be a direct response to the challenges confronting us as a nation. Yeah. We need to thank God that that things have not gotten bad to the level of carnage that we are seeing elsewhere. Economic realities in different countries are nosediving, including the UK, including the US. Go and look at the statistics. So Nigeria is not an exception. You have a president who has put on his thinking cap, choosing the right men to plug in the leakages and all of that, to ensure that we generate a new thinking. And here you have persons who are supposedly elder statesmen or partakers in the collective patrimony of this country, running commentaries that are antithetical to the kind of mindset that we should have now, the kind of reality that we should have now. So I see them as sore losers, bad losers, and they will continue to agonize. Because I know that the issues before this... Yes.
Sorry, one moment, Kazim. Reverend Dominic has joined us. Good morning to you.
Good morning, Chief Yori. Good everybody. You get... I have taken the place of in issue.
I just heard that we lost that call, but even before we lost it, it was so very, very low. So sorry, Reverend Dominic. Perhaps you can get back in. We're looking at Peter Obi's outing yesterday, called it a press conference, a world press conference, and that's what we're talking about. We'd like to hear from you as well. Peter Obi, as you know, came third behind Atiku Abubakar, who was second. And it wasn't even about the election, but as our guest, Kazim Afegbu, has just said, it seemed to be to sort of first seek attention. He got that. But then also in the process, maligning the setup, maligning the law and order that we are working with. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu is in place. You are protesting that. You have taken it to the courts. You are not leaving it there. You are now, some have said, the interpretation they get is that you are now whipping up public sentiment, social media sentiment. And again, as Kasim just pointed out, the courts, you know, are sort of, they're not going to be led by social media. We even had vestiges of that in the appeal court, where social media does not concern the law. They're going to deal with the facts in front of them. So I don't know what value Peter Obi thought he added to the situation. Atiku Abubakar had first of all gone forth. Now he comes after that, joining forces, leading to people calling it a gang-up. What does he think Nigerians are? It's befuddling, quite frankly. But it goes to how strongly he believes that from his third place position in the presidential contest, there is any hope for him at all. That is another point that boggles the mind.
Well, you see, just like I said earlier, you don't tell a child that is being flogged not to cry. He's been flogged thoroughly. And he was flogged thoroughly during the elections.
Kazim,
because
I beg your pardon, Kazim, for interrupting you, because Ibrahim has just called in. Good morning, Ibrahim.
Good morning, Mr. Yori.
Good morning, sir. Thank you for calling in.
I don't know his name again. The former commissioner for Edo State. You see, thank you very much. Where we are today is Ibrahim from Kaduna. You see, this certificate saga, I don't know. It is just unnecessary and it's bringing us more controversy. All those oblivious and unnecessary political sagacity is taking us nowhere. Why did I say so? You see, now, the two political gladiators today has become a judge of their own case and a lawyer of their own case, and as well as their supporters. Look, the only way for us to go is to allow the judges to do their own way of doing things the way it should be. Look, Nigeria, we are not a banana republic. No matter, I stand to be corrected, no matter anything that anyone else there says he wants to say and bring Nigeria down, and again try to bring, at least to point his hand in the name of Mr. President as a person, it's not going to do us well. Because why? We have a country today, and we have a sitting president, which is going to take us to where we are. Now, every matter now is with the court. Am I communicating? Every matter now is now with the court. I don't know why we continue to overheat and hitting this policy the way we are seeing. Look, Nigeria today, all this political hunting, all like on the social media hunt, will not take it anywhere. Now, the first day this matter comes out, the CSU comes out to say, no, this is our product. Yes, we haven't given him this and that, but the fact before them, they see it and they play it out, which everybody is understand. But today they are trying to convince all of us in Nigeria. Look, no matter what, we are not a kid. A sitting governor, a sitting government, and indeed a sitting president is moving on. Nothing will drag us back. The focus before us today is this: there should not be to bring or to make Nigeria to look as a simple nation. No. In the height of Africa today, Nigeria stands the solid and the vertebrate of all black nations as far as the world is concerned, if I'm not mistaken. So no one person that says that he is greater, Nigeria is greater than any one person or any matter anyhow you is. Mr. Peter Obi, Mr. Atiku, and the rest of them and their supporters, please, they should just give peace a chance and allow the court to do what is right for us. We are not going to go back because why? I don't know. I don't know how they're going to get the justice fairly. But
thank you. Thank you very much for calling in, Ibrahim. Kazim, I'll just take a quick break. Be right back. Stay with us, please.
There is always more to a story than the screaming headline. The part of a story that is not told casts a shadow. It's like the part of an object that is not reached by light. On TVC News, I'm able to explore the many angles there are to a story, talking to stakeholders, asking the difficult questions, and digging for facts. I believe the viewers are able to make a better decision if they're well informed and understand not just a part, but the complete story. TVC News, first with breaking news.
Voted as the best TV station of the year. TVC News breaks into the core of every event as they happen. Following all nationwide big and impactful stories. Without the news from every perspective, covering every human angle. I am Veronica, bringing you the news you would want to watch.
Okay, welcome back, and we're looking at Peter Obi's outing yesterday, a press conference, apparently ganging up with Atiku Abubakar. Atiku Abubakar, the second place winner, and, well, the second place contestant. Peter Obi, the distant third place contestant. And we're looking at that against the backdrop of the propriety of the whole entire process, seeing as the matter concerning Peter Obi and before then Atiku Abubakar is before the Supreme Court. But before we continue, Mr. Joshua from Irewolide, good morning. Good morning, Mr. Joshua in Irewolide.
Yori, good morning. I'm happy to get through this morning. I greet you and I greet your guest.
Thank you.
Yori, you can hear me, right?
Yes, we can hear you.
Thank you. Please, there's this popular adage, to whom much is given, much is expected. Atiku Abubakar has gotten so much from Nigeria. 8 years vice president. 8 years. Peter Obi has been a governor for 8 years. At about the time, the present president was governor of Lagos. He could have done wonders with Anambra. See, these guys have gotten so much from Nigeria. Why do they want to pull down this country? What's their issue? What's their problem? See, they should understand that the days of the dark are over. The current time has a social media angle. I am in the social media. It is their members they are influencing emotionally. They were insulting us before election, insulting everywhere. They want to bamboozle everybody to believe their story. For what? You said Tinubu didn't go to CSU, Chicago State University. I have colleagues who are not talking to me today because I stood my ground that man went to the university. They said he didn't. Now, you are now changing the story after the university has confirmed that it is spelling, it is comma, Tinubu is his head, is married, married to a Muslim, is this, excuse me, leave Tinubu alone. Let them, if they believe in the process as statesmen, let them wait now. What is they are disrespecting the nation by all these things that they are doing. Yori, let's speak to them. Maybe they are too old to understand. I'm about the same age with these people. They should stop dribbling us and go and rest. They should go and do their work. What's all this problem?
Well, thank you very much. Thank you very much for calling in. And as you know, we, especially those of you who are on social media, following the release of the BBC fact-checking department, they have a unit in there apparently, they did a fact check, and they have said that there was absolutely nothing that leads to, anybody being able to logically conclude that there was any kind of forgery whatsoever. Oh, that brought on a barrage of criticism. BBC has been torn to shreds. People have noted that even with CSU, the university, Tinubu's university, that was how they bombarded the university's account until those ones had to lock it. BBC probably won't lock its own, but it just goes to show you there's a kind of a wolf pack mentality, perhaps, is one way to describe it, that whatever they have outlined as their reality is the reality that everybody must take and work on. And that's where, quite frankly, it doesn't make any sense otherwise. Our guest, of course, is Mr. Kazim Afebua. You said it. I don't know that there's very much more that can be said. Looking at some of the comments that have followed the BBC's release of that, the fact-checked result, there's no evidence. So case closed was what Bashir Ahmad had commented on social media. Reno Omokri, former aide to President Goodluck Jonathan, and a strong supporter of the PDP, by the way, has said some Nigerians were harassing, quote, harassing the BBC on social media for stating the obvious truth, unquote. And another quote, some Nigerians are now flooding the BBC with calls and harassing them. They are also doing the same on all their social media handles simply for stating the obvious truth, that there is no evidence Bola Tinubu forged his certificate, a false narrative that the opposition wants to hold on to. Good morning to you, Mr. George.
Good morning, Uncle Yori. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Yes, Uncle Yori, the gang up between Obi and Atiku has gone beyond politics. It is a project to bring down Nigeria. These were two people who found it impossible to work together in the same party before the elections. They could not unite, and they are now ganging up after the elections. If you don't know each other, if you didn't agree with each other before the elections, to the extent that you parted your ways and went into different parties to contest the same election, and now after the same election, the result has come out, a winner has emerged, and now you are now ganging up to bring the country down, that already speaks volumes about what they intend to do. Okay, Yori, my surprise is what is going on in terms of reactions by our security agencies. Somebody went on national television last week and said that a sitting president of a country like Nigeria, he called him a serial forger. That television station is still on as we speak. That person is still working free on our streets. Where is the National Broadcasting Commission? Where is the DSS? Because of the so-called freedom of speech. Is that a reason why people should be calling a sitting president all sorts of derogatory names and get away with it? If you make such an allegation in the open national television and nothing is done to you, it tells me that we are degenerating to something I will not want to mention on air as a country. Is the president trying to be nice? He said he wants to check the rule of law in our country.
Yeah.
The rule of law includes if you make a statement that you cannot prove, you will be called to question for it. I have no other country. Maybe Peter Obi and Atiku have other countries. Dubai is Atiku's second country. Panama Papers is obese. It belongs to so many other countries. But me, I don't have any other country. Those of us who don't have other countries to go, they should allow us to have our country. And the only way to ensure this, Uncle Yori, is the government in place should ensure the rule of law. Nobody should just do what he likes and get away, or say what he likes and get away with it without proving it.
Indeed.
What is going on is taking a dimension that needs to be addressed. And I'm calling on the president and the security agencies to do their work before these evil forces truncate what President Tinubu needs to give to this country.
All right, thank you. Thank you very much for calling in, Mr. George. Kasim, you alluded, maybe even obliquely, to this fact that has just been referred to by that caller, George, calling out of Lagos. That, look, that people are even able to say the kind of things in a public space, such as Atiku and now lately Peter Obi have been doing, it's just a testament to a commitment of to freedom of speech. But is there? What are your thoughts? Is there a time when things begin to approach the ridiculous, and in the interest of peace and safeguarding freedom of speech, when you have people like Peter Obi going out in this manner, much to the delight of a whole section of our country, it needs to be said? I don't know what your thoughts are there, because Mr. George was just saying that he was implying that there are other domains where you can't do this sort of thing. Try to whip up society. That's apart from trying to, although that is not going to happen, influence the constituted courts who are yet to decide on the matter that you are pursuing right now. That whole matter about freedom of speech taking to the level that we have seen now. Your thoughts on that, Kazim?
I have a different attitude and different approach to this. And I think I want to buy into the president's own approach of just maintaining some level of dignified silence on some of these issues. But it doesn't mean that they should take the handshake beyond the elbow. The point is, you may have your freedom of speech. It's just that it's a bad way of expressing their anger and pain of defeat. That's why I told you that they are sore losers. Because they are sore losers, they will keep on agonizing until the next election of 2027. It is still going to be the same agonization. Oh, the pain. Oh, I will have won. Oh, I won that election. I won that, all of this. But if you tell them to speak to the demographics, you will catch them pants down, unable to rationalize the so-called victory they are talking about. That's why I'm happy about the judgment of the tribunal, the presidential tribunal, because that judgment was very thorough. If you have read it, you will see that they took time out on every item and draw inferences from point of law. You see, it's like what SAN, Ulisa Agbakova, was saying about 2-3 days ago, that, come on, you lawyers, is there no NBA again? They should call these lawyers to order. It is understood that lawyers who want to make money during the election period. Like I told somebody, there are 3 different categories of election. Election at the polling unit, election at the collation center, and election at the court of law. And so lawyers take over when elections are concluded. They want to make some good money. And you see some of them even exposing, their lack of understanding of even the operative environment, looking at the American judicial system and all of that, not being able to understand the workings of the American judicial system and trying to impose it on us. A sovereign country at that. And so, for whatever it is worth, I know that it will be difficult, for example, for you to bring an evidence from an American court and you want to use it in Nigeria when you have not even enrolled such in our body of laws. So I think what they are just doing is media trial. They want to whip up sentiments. They want to make the loudest of noise. They want to discredit the country. They want to demarcate the country. But it does not stop the president from putting his eyes right on the ball. He has to focus on the ball, the challenges confronting us are so enormous. We need everyone to be on board. Those who want to cry, they should be given space to cry. Those who want to agonize, they should be given space to agonize. But for God's sake, Atiku Abubakar cannot wake up today and tend to love Nigerians more than themselves, because even his antecedents are not anything to celebrate, whether you like it or not. The same people who were talking about the certificate, we are now seeing Siddiq in their own school side. We are seeing Siddiq Abubakar in 1965. And in 1973, he said he did an affidavit. 8 years later, at what point did he realize that he has to do an affidavit to say that the owner of that name and all of that? So there are discrepancies. The same thing Peter Obi. He said he graduated in 1979, but there's a certificate, but the O level in 1979 does not qualify him to run for any degree course. But in 1986, they say he wrote another exams. You see, these are the issues. So when you dwell at the level of hypocrisy, at the level of contradiction, what you have is the kind of scenario you are seeing. Rather than them to spend their money to improve on the lot of Nigerians who are presently impoverished in different states of the country, they are spending money giving to lawyers who can't even articulate the issues properly for their clients. You know, so I'm not saying it is bad to be a lawyer, but for God's sake, you must understand the subject matter before you begin to run your commentaries on television in such a very debasing manner, very ridiculous manner. At times when you listen to some of their opinion, you even want to cringe, because I'm not a lawyer, but I can speak to a lot of the issues that are before the courts. And just like I said, you have tabled your grievances, you have presented your grounds of appeal. Allow the courts to do their justice. Let them do whatever the cases will be argued before the justices of the Supreme Court. They will listen to a point of law and not point of sentiments and not point of emotions. Emotions don't drive law. Sentiments don't drive law. What drives law are the issues and the evidence you are able to present in a manner that it will be proven beyond reasonable doubt, so that it will be so glaring. But when you begin to fish in trouble or carrying out fishing expedition and just try to make meaning out of the whole thing, it will just seem like the case of a sinking sailor who is trying to clutch at Flossam to stay afloat. That's exactly what they are now, and it's quite unfortunate. But like I told somebody yesterday, they should prepare for 2027. As far as Bola Ahmed Tinubu is already the president of the country, and he merited and earned the 8.7 million votes. It has been proven at the tribunal. We'll wait for the Supreme Court to give Indeed, the final lead.
It has become, as Peter B. himself said, it's not about politics anymore. It's not even about, I think, education. I think it's just become a campaign of hatred, which is very, very unfortunate. And Mr. Yakub, good morning, and thank you very much for holding on. Go right ahead, please.
Yeah. And I don't know, maybe you are hearing me or something. And then good morning to Mr. Kasim Azegua. You see, I'm not surprised. These guys that we are talking about in the first place, they don't even believe in our judicial system at all. I didn't mean they believe in our judicial system. They don't need all this that I'm doing. Yes. You have go to tribunal and then you got some kind of judgment there that you are not right. And then you have appeal. Why can't you allow the Supreme Court to do the justice to this? And then, let me even say this. You see, in the Yoruba dialect, there is a proverb says that, I'm very sure you can be able to translate that in the studio. Chief Yori, see, these guys, they know that rough house. As Mr. Kasim Aveglia said earlier, you can't beat a child and then tell the child not to cry. But there's a limit that the child will cry to, and then he will shut up his mouth. See, the Mr. President is too kind. He's too kind. I said it because I totally believe and then I totally agree and support the president of my president, which Mr. George, president of this morning, because the way that we support this government, it is an attack on our own personality as well. Calling our president at 8.something million voted for. You call that Mr. President a serial forger. Meanwhile, you cannot substantiate that very particular word. And then today, the same person is moving around the street.
The same studio, the same television station is still operating. I don't want to mention that station we start from AR. See, if you need to watch this station. Even Mr. Kasim Abegua, sometimes if you appear within that television station, I only follow Mr. Kasim Abegua. They always disagree because he always telling them the truth, but they don't listen. Mr. Yori, whether they like it or not, we have already have Mr. President in place, and then it's going to stay. And then, Mr. Yori, let me point out this. Mr. Kasim Abegua mentioned something earlier as well. You can go and listen to Minister Wike, what he's doing in Abuja today, and then, by extension, I don't know, maybe you have heard what former governor of the Minister of Work in front of David Umay. If you know what this guy wants to do for this country, you will know that Mr. President already got the people that want to put this country at the right place. Because listen to Minister of Work, I found out that a lot of things that we are doing in this country, especially those people that get to work from the federal government, they will collect money and then they will not go to the site. So whether they like it or not, when the Supreme Court gives the judgment, don't be surprised. This guy will still come out and tell this Supreme Court they have already brought them. Look at what they're telling BBC now. So let's wait and see what is going to come out of Supreme Court.
Mr. Yakub, I guess what all right-thinking members of society must do now is, just wait on the Supreme Court. That's where the appellants have gone. They've gone to the Supreme Court, which is their right to do. But instead of leaving matters, I guess all of this was just to get into the pages of newspapers, especially Mr. Peter Gregory Obi in his instance. He said so. He said he had an onerous burden. Who put that onerous burden on him? What burden is he talking about that he has to be addressing the situation in Nigeria? What situation, apart from that which you are seeking to create? And if you are going to do so, Kazim has already said that everything must come from the law. Everything must wait for the pronouncement of the law. You might very well be in order, but why are you trying to interfere with emotionalisms, intimidate the judiciary, some have said, by carrying on in this sort of way? Because I'm afraid carrying on, forgive my using that expression, but that is the way it seems to a lot of people, carrying on in the absence of any kind of a cogent point. I think I heard one commentator speak about evangelizing. That's enough. I won't say any more on that. That, look, this all looks like evangelizing, because Peter Obi did say that it wasn't about politics anymore. It wasn't about, and he was citing, I don't know, irrelevant examples of Sir Winston Churchill in the UK, former President Jimmy Carter. All sorts of things were brought together in, a speech that, as I said, Felix Moka of the APC, he's the National Publicity Secretary of APC, has called drivel. But Nigerians have had to suffer through that while they suffer through this particular use of freedom of speech by, opponents of the president. But the election is over. There's nothing more that we can do. Peter Obi has achieved his aim, I think, which is put himself, on radio programs, on TV programs, on newspapers. But I hope the cost isn't too much, because you've made the point that we all have just one country, and why are some people compromising it by integrity? All of this thing that is being done is going around the world. I don't know how that is satisfying some people, that you're making. I don't know if you're making a laughingstock of yourself or of the country. I don't think that's as much as I can say. I guess I've also added my own sort of editorializing to the whole bit, Kazim. Just closing words now, because there's so much that one can say about this saga.
Well, let me make a passionate appeal, because, and that appeal has to do with TVC and some other sister stations. They should also help, Nigerians by ensuring that they don't give platform to these categories of noisemakers to run down our country. In fact, even discussing this subject matter when it is before the Supreme Court for me is unnecessary any longer. Let's wait for the verdict of the Supreme Court. Let the Supreme Court act on what is before it. Let the lawyers argue out from point of law and not point of emotions and sentiments. Let us begin to have a new thinking about our country. Let us see how we can rally around support for the president to deliver on his electoral promises and also implement the wonderful policies and programs in his manifesto, the Renew Hope agenda. Because we need stability of the system, we need the buy-in of every one of us, we need our understanding to build a national cohesion, and in the process, rally around everyone to ensure that we are able to deliver what the people want to see. There is hunger in the land, there is impoverishment, there is insecurity and all of that. We need everybody on board. The president cannot do the magic alone. The president and his lieutenants, those he has appointed, cannot do the magic alone. We need everyone to put information on the table that will help our security apparatus, our security architecture to deliver on their security mandate. We need to also encourage each and every one of us as Nigerians to have a belief in our country. The ownership structure of this country has to change. This idea of thinking that, oh, this one owns the country more than the other and all of that. I won election. If it is not me, the heaven must fall. You want to break this, the roof just because you didn't win election? That kind of attitude is very unpatriotic. Very unpatriotic, and it is parochialism, the height of parochialism and myopism. You don't have to see yourself as the one and only answer to a country of over 200 million Nigerians. So whether Atiku Abubakar, whether Peter Obi, they must understand that the country is bigger than them. The aspiration of the country as a whole is bigger than the aspiration of an individual who is trying to mount the podium of leadership. And so it's our responsibility as citizens to carry out our obligation of being law-abiding citizens, to be people who respect the rule of law, and also help government in place to also actualize or pursue the aspirations that represent the collective aspirations of the country. So if we're able to do this, the better for us. But where you go at that level of political stature that you have, to run commentaries that downgrade, that demarcate this country, you may think that you are pleasing your own self-serving emotions. You will end up demarcating a country and opportunities of even the youths or your followers that you think you are fighting for. So you don't know what tomorrow holds for the country. You only know of even this moment. Even 5 minutes away from this moment, you don't know. So we must guide our country jealously, promote conversations that will enrich and deepen democratic values, promote conversations that will deepen our electoral credibility, so that in the final analysis in future, we can have something better than what we have now. And that is how countries progress, on the ladder of development. But
all right. Thank you very much. I beg your pardon, Kazim. Thank you very much. There's nothing more to add, really. And I thank you once more for coming on this morning, Kazim Afegbua, former Commissioner for Information in Edo State and commentator on public affairs. Our appreciation once more. So that's our program. Please join us tomorrow for a fresh edition. I am Yori Folarin. Bye-bye for now.
Is a paid presentation by ShopX TV. Are you worried about the safety and security of your home at night? Do you wish to know when intruders come close to your home? Or do you want to protect what matters to your family from anywhere at any time? What if there was a convenient, affordable way to keep surveillance on your home without having to worry about wires, installations, or heavy light bills? Introducing the incredible Sidebulb HD Cam, the robotic 360-degree two-way torque camera with action tracking technology. Sidebulb is the ultimate solution for discreet and powerful surveillance. It's so easy to install, and the app lets you rotate and view the video from your Sidebulb in real time from any smartphone. You can drop in from anywhere and check in with our two-way talk technology. Talk and listen at the same time.
Hello, Mommy.
Hey, sweetie. I'll be home soon, okay?
Sidebulb's advanced tracking technology locks onto motion and tracks in real time. Set the siren alarm to go off when motion is detected and keep intruders away. Check in on your home while you're away. Make sure the kids got home safely. Interact with visitors at your doorway or surprise a trespasser.
Surveillance in a light bulb. I was amazed at the 360-degree rotation. It gives me a full view of my house and I can check in on my kids. The footage is clear and the night vision is so impressive. The best part, I can add multiple side bulbs for a complete home surveillance.
I really like my side bulb. It's so easy to use. I just downloaded the app, I put it on my phone, and I add it up and run in about 3 minutes.
Traditional surveillance systems are bulky, expensive, and difficult to install. But with Sidebulb HD Cam's innovative design, installation is as fast as changing a light bulb, and it's made for indoor and outdoor surveillance.
The Sidebulb HD Cam is now available in Nigeria, exclusively from ShopX TV. You could be paying up to 200,000 naira for an indoor and outdoor security system that doesn't fully secure your home. But call the number on your screen now and get the Sidebulb HD Cam for just 45,000 naira and get peace of mind. And that's not all. If you call now, we'll give you an extra sight bulb at no extra cost. That means you buy one and get one free for 45,000 naira. But wait, there's more. If you order now, you get the Sidebulb HD Cam delivered to you for free wherever you are in Nigeria. So, call the number on your screen now or visit our website to place your order while stock lasts. The proceeding was a paid presentation brought to you by ShopX TV.
TVC Communications, Nigeria's leading independent broadcast company, has been officially designated as a great place to work. Over the past 3 years, we have transformed our workplace into one which is respectful, caring, rewarding, and provides great benefits to all our 500 employees. We thank our team for giving us the chance to show that partnership between employer and employee really works. TVC Communications, officially designated as a great place to work, and now the only broadcasting and media company not just in Nigeria but throughout continental Africa to be fully certified. TVC Communications, a great Nigerian company, a great Nigerian place to work.
At TVC News, wherever the big news story is happening, we're geared up to break it.